Start where you're at and let that be okay, but start looking for evidence that God is in your life. Where does God show up in your life every day, in the small details and in the large details? Where are the big miracles? Where are the small miracles? Where are the medium-sized miracles? Because they are everywhere in your day, every single day. And that will help you to realign. Hey there, prosperity seeker, and welcome to another episode of The Prosperity Approach. I'm your host, Allyson Chavez, and as always, I'm thrilled, humbled, and honored that you're spending some of your time here with me. Here we are at episode 111, 111. There is so much spiritual meaning in numbers that repeat themselves, and so here we are with the ones. I think one is be careful about what you're thinking because you manifest at the speed of light. So watch what your thoughts are. So I love that. Those of you who are watching on YouTube, correct me if I'm wrong, pop it in the comments below if that's not what the one means, but I'm thinking that's the spiritual meaning of one. And then when it repeats, it's just a more powerful version of that message. So I thought, this is very interesting that we're talking about alignment tips on episode 111. That's telling you, hey, watch what watch what you're thinking, because you manifest at the speed of light. So super cool. All right. So we find ourselves out of alignment regularly, and that's okay. Remember, we've got headwind, we've got tailwind, we've got side winds, we've got air pockets that cause turbulence along this journey that we're on. It's okay. It knocks us off course just a little bit, but when you're aware of all of the different signs that let us know we're out of alignment, we can very quickly realign. And remember, alignment is the position of agreement or alliance. So we got to get back into agreement with God, back into alliance and partnership with our goals, instead of saying they're so much bigger than we are, because they're not. They are tailor-made for you to grow into them. So what are some practical ways that we can get into alignment? I am a very, very, very big proponent of breath work. We don't breathe enough these days. We breathe very shallowly, and our bodies are just starving for oxygen. We know we're out of alignment when we're not breathing. We know we're in scarcity and we're in survival when we're not breathing. Especially as women, anytime that you tense, that's an indication that you are in survival. And so if you're finding yourself tensing, take a deep breath with me. Oh my goodness, I love a deep breath. I was out of alignment for so long. About 11 years ago, my brother passed away very suddenly, and life was happening. And I was a really master manifester of lots of messes at that time in my life. And I just was in so much survival and so much pain that I actually couldn't take a deep breath for about a year. And after he died, I had so much healing that needed to happen. And there was so much grief and trauma and, all the things. So I really, really appreciate when I can take a deep breath. Those breaths that catch, like it just fills your lungs. It gets to a point where it's just it hits that relief button. At least it hits that relief button for me. And so I love that deep breath. So take a breath with me wherever you're at. Just take a breath and let it out. Nice deep breath. And now if you want to get back into alignment, to align your body, your mind, and your spirit, you're going to take a deep breath in. And then on the exhale, you're going to exhale all your breath out. And then you're going to hold your breath at the bottom of the exhale and hold it for a slow count of 4. So let's do it together. All right. Big inhale in and out. Hold your breath at the bottom. 1, 2, 3, 4, and in. And you can do this 3 times. You can do this 10 times, however many that you're feeling into that you want to breathe. And on that exhale, hold your breath. When your breath is out on the bottom, this just allows your mind, your body, and your spirit to just kind of come back together again. And I love doing this when I'm feeling anxious, when I'm feeling rushed, when I'm like, I've got so much to do, that's scarcity right there. So I know I'm not aligned. And so sometimes I'll do it in my desk. Sometimes I'll just leave my office for a few minutes and just like, and realign. All right. So I love that. And the tips that I'm sharing, I want you to be able to do to realign in a minute or less. Do a breathwork session by all means, do a breathwork session. There's tons of free ones that you can find on YouTube. There's men that do breathwork. There's women that do breathwork. But it's so powerful for healing, for releasing, and just like raising your energy. It's beautiful. But I'm not going to do a breathwork session on a podcast episode, at least not this one, because I want you to be able to realign in 60 seconds or less. And these are things that I have done that have helped me realign. All right. So that's the first one that I would have you do. Another thing that will help you to align, remember we talked in previous episodes about when we're future tripping or when we're connected to the past and we're filled with uncertainty in both of those situations. So we need to get into the present moment. Well, how do we actually do that? So when I'm feeling like life is happening to me instead of life is happening for me, or life is coming at me instead of life is coming to me, those are two totally different experiences. And I'm feeling like my brain, my amygdala is firing and telling me, go back to safety, status quo, familiarity, all of those things, or things just don't feel like they're working out. I will actually look around whatever environment I'm in, and I start reminding myself, no, actually everything's always working out for me. What's working for me right now where I am. And I know I've shared this tip before. And if you haven't used this tip, allow this to be another witness of how powerful this tip is to realign you, get you back into the present moment and get you back in agreement with your dreams and that foundation that you're safe no matter what happens. Everybody's safe no matter what happens. We're okay. Everything's always working out for you. The universe is friendly to your desires. It's not conspiring against you. It's conspiring for you. But you need to find evidence in your present circumstance that will help you pull you back into the present moment and also remind you with that physical evidence that everything is working for you. So I'll look at the lights. Oh, I've got lights that are working. All right. There's evidence that everything's working for me. I've got water right literally at my fingertips and I can take a drink anytime I'm thirsty. That's working for me. Right now, it's cold. We're at the end of the year here. It is really cold. But I'm in a temperature controlled environment. So I'm very comfortable. I'm very warm. That's working for me. I've got my smartphone right here. I've got a timer on so that I don't wax eloquent and, suddenly it's a 50-minute long episode. Oh, this is keeping me on track. This is working for me. All right. When I first learned this, I was in so much come apart all the time. I was in meltdown. I was in burnout. I was in overwhelm. I was in exhaustion. And when I first did this, I was in a very, very low vibrational state. Like anything would tip me over and make me cry. And so when I did this, I looked at the clock when I started. I looked at the clock when I started feeling better, and it took me 2 minutes. So this one might take you 2 minutes if you're in a really, really painful, hurting place. But if you're just feeling stressed out, if you're just feeling burned out and exhausted, so you're misaligned, this should realign you in about a minute or less. All right. Another tip that you can do to realign, our brain will future trip us with something new that we want to do. And I actually learned this from Joe Vitale, and he wrote an awesome book called The Attractor Factor. And I'm not sure if this tip is in that book, but this is where I learned it from. So our mind, when we're looking at something new that we haven't done before, will say, okay, well, what if? And it will lead us to a catastrophe. What if this doesn't work? And then like the snowball effect that has us living under a bridge by, if we buy the dress we want, suddenly we might not have money for paying the bills. And then we're going to be living under a bridge in like 72 hours or less. And Joe Vitale calls that what if down. And so and we're so melodramatic in our minds and we're so addicted to drama that it just naturally goes there. So we need to retrain the brain to what if up. If you can't what if up, and what if up is, What if this works even better than I imagine? What if I buy the dress and it pops me into a higher vibration? Somebody notices me rocking it out in this dress, starts a conversation with me through just the natural occurrence of the conversation. She finds somebody that can connect me with what I'm looking for. I sign another client, or I get a new contract, or I meet the man of my dreams. Like, that's what if up. All right. Like, what could actually happen? What's the potential? What's the possibilities? Now, if it's too hard for you to what if up at that moment, then just let go of what if. What if this doesn't work? Well, something else will come along and it will work. All right. That's because that's how things work for me. That's what I've decided. That's how I run my life. If one thing that I try doesn't work, that means that something else right on its heels is going to come that does work. Something better will come along very quickly. We're totally fine. So I'll tell myself that, and then I'll just focus on the present moment. I'll just focus on, see how we're taken care of right now? Like, we're fine. I can be aligned with the possibility of my dreams right now. Oh, it feels really wonderful. All right. So you can either what if up, or just let go of the what if by saying, then something else will come and we'll be fine. And then just focus on staying right aligned with your dreams in the present moment. All right. And third tip that you can do that is, oh gosh, so powerful for me, that usually aligns me in 60 seconds or less. If you're in a really painful, hurting state, it might take you a little bit longer. If you are having, a faith crisis with your relationship with God, this might take a little bit longer. If you are having a rocky relationship with God right now, the thing that will heal it the fastest is gratitude. And just thanking God for every little part of your life that you can appreciate, the people He's brought into your life, the conveniences that you have every single day that you don't even think about because they're just part of your life. Change seasons, your favorite things, just gratitude and saying, hey, thanks. Thank you, Lord. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. That tells me you love me. All right. So you can start there if you're going through a rough patch with God. And I get it. I've definitely gone through a rough patch with God before. And so this really helped to repair that relationship really quickly and help me to have more trust in His benevolence, in His generosity, and His desire to show me how powerful He is in my own life. All right. But if you're pretty solid with God and you're really good with gratitude and you've got that trust thing pretty much dialed in the moment when you're feeling that uncertainty and you know that you're misaligned, start looking for God in your life. I heard somebody once say it like God's fingerprints or Jesus's fingerprints in your life, because we want to see that God is in the details. You know that awful lie, that saying that the devil is in the details? No, not in my life. God is in the details of my life, and choose into that as well. So see the different ways that God shows up in your life every day as proof that you're not alone. You're not alone in figuring it out. I think to one degree or another, we all run some sort of abandonment issue. God hasn't abandoned you. Look at all of the ways that He shows up in your life to help you. Green lights, I call them green light angels, or you can call them heaven kisses or tender mercies or the loving kindness of God, whatever really strikes you as evidence that God shows up in your life to help you know you're not alone. And He's right there in all of the details with you. That brings me so much comfort and helps me to align. I've heard the saying, and I've said this to myself repeatedly in recent history of, God didn't bring me this far just to bring me this far. And God didn't bring me here to leave me. So where is God? Where is God right now in my life as proof that I'm not alone? Oh, I found this fun meme and it made me laugh, or I read this thing that just made me feel peaceful. My favorite song came across my shuffle playlist and that brought me, those are evidence that God's in your life. And, when I was first learning all of these different techniques, and I didn't realize what I was doing was actually aligning to the life that I wanted, there was a part of my brain that was like, this is just your imagination. This is just your favorite imagination, just wishing and hoping that God was in your life and that God actually cared. This is when I was going through that rough patch with God. And you know what? So what? So what if it is? I don't believe it is. I 100% fully believe that this is evidence and proof that God knows what's going on, that God is evident in every part of my life, and he is in every detail of my life, and he wants me to succeed, and he wants me to feel more joy than I can even possibly imagine. And he has those things tailor-made and ready and waiting for me to be able to receive them. But there was a time when it was just like, oh, you're just wishing that's the case. And I remember thinking to myself, okay, maybe that is the case, but it feels a whole heck of a lot better than me being this sorry, sad sack and misaligned from my goals and my dreams and thinking that God doesn't care about me. So if you have to go there, then go there. Start where you're at and let that be okay, but start looking for evidence that God is in your life. Where does God show up in your life every day, in the small details and in the large details? Where are the big miracles? Where are the small miracles? Where are the medium-sized miracles? Because they are everywhere in your day, every single day. And that will help you to realign. Oh. This has been a glorious series for me to do for you. I hope that it's been very valuable for you as well. And if you are a high-achieving, God-centered woman who is in charge of really much her own income, so whether you're in high-commission sales or any part of the real estate industry, you're a female entrepreneur and you are determined to live life on your terms, and you're also tired of hustling it out, grinding it out, pushing through all of the burnout, all of those things, and you really want to learn the new success model for women, the model that plays to our unique strengths and gifts, that fills you with joy, that fills you with radiance, and does not require you to suck your soul dry in order to reach your goals, then come join me at a live 2-day in-person event that I'm hosting next month. We're going to take that model apart. I'm going to show you how it works, why you can trust it physiologically, scientifically, spiritually, energetically, all the things. So come join me for that. Would love to have you. For more information and to purchase your ticket, go to prosperityapproach.com/live, LIVE, or click on that link in your show notes, and we'll see you then. Until next time, remember, prosperity becomes you. Bye-bye.